I don't know if you've heard of this thing. It's called Heartstopper or something. Like, I don't know what it is, but it seems like a show that I wouldn't like. It's about like two boys like kissing or something. I don't know. What a weird concept that is. That's a joke, by the way. I'm very aware what Heartstopper is. I don't know if you could tell that. But anyway, today I'm going to be doing what I think their Pokemon teams would be if the Heartstopper characters were Pokemon trainers. I haven't done a video like this in years, so I'm very excited. So yeah, these are like, I actually had help from one of my friends, so shout out to Azorian Trainer for this, because he helped me a lot with this. But, these are like the Pokemon that I think each of the Para Squad would have. I'm only doing the Para Squad, because I feel like any more would be too much, because there's 9 of them. So yeah, I'm really excited for this. I hope you like the teams, because I like them, and hopefully they make sense to you. But anyway, let's get into it. So obviously we're going to start with Charlie Spring. He's arguably the main character. I would say him and Nick are both equally the main characters, but the show has more focus on Charlie, to be fair. But anyway, Charlie's first Pokemon is going to be Grookey. If I even need to explain why, then you're not a real Heartstopper fan. Because Charlie plays the drums, and Grookey is literally a drumming Pokemon. He's not getting Rillaboom though, because Rillaboom is one of the worst, actually no, the worst starter of all time. But I love Grookey, so I'm very conflicted about that. So yeah, it would be really fitting for him, and they play drums together, obviously. And then his second Pokemon would be Hatena. Now I feel like this might, like, maybe some people are thinking that he shouldn't have Hatena because of what Hatena does, but I actually think because Hatena's power is that it senses other people's emotions, and if the emotions get too much, it'll make Hatena overwhelmed. But that's what happens to Charlie every day of his life, you know? He gets overwhelmed because of all of his emotions and everything that he thinks. So I think Hatena would suit him. And then, like, at first maybe Hatena doesn't like him because of that, but as Charlie goes through the series, his mental health gets better and better. It's not perfect, obviously, because, like, mental health is something that will never go away. But as his mental health progresses, his relationship with Hatena will progress. And I think I like that idea as well. He would also have a Passimian, and I'm gonna explain. I actually have a whole story for this. I made this story up myself. So, just say hypothetically that Nick and Charlie are Pokemon trainers, right? His the reason he would have Passimian is because it would actually be Nick's Passimian, because Nick is a rugby player and Passimian, well, it's an American football player that's quite close to rugby. They're basically the same game, and then. Well, if you remember when they went to the zoo for Nick's birthday, Nick bought Charlie a lemur plushie, and Passimian is a lemur, in case you didn't know that, so Nick would give it to Charlie. You know, especially when Charlie went to the therapy, spoiler alert. So, it'd be like that kind of thing where, like, he's sending his Passimian to, like, look after him. I like that idea. Especially since Charlie always has a lemur with him now, after Nick got him it. So I think that really works. I think that works really well. And then also, since it's a rugby player, it also makes sense why Nick would have had it in the first place. So there you go. Okay, so we're getting out of it into controversial territory here, so I just need to put a trigger warning first for EDs and HS. If you don't know what those mean, please don't ask me, because I'd rather not say. But if you do know what they mean, there's your trigger warning, just so you know. So if you want to skip ahead, then you can do that. Anyway, Charlie has an ED, and he starts SHing himself because of it, so he has to go to therapy. But his therapist, Jeff, is really nice, by the way. But me and my friend kind of discussed this, and we both had this idea that Jeff would, like, mandate that he takes these Pokemon, and I'm gonna explain why. So, he would give Charlie a Munchlax at first. This might seem contradictory, but let me explain why. So, Munchlax gathers food. Obviously, it's got Munch in its name, and it does share its food sometimes, because it did, in the Deoxys movie, it offered Max one of its sandwiches, so it does offer its food. So what the Munchlax's job would be to gather food for Charlie. It wouldn't just give him it, obviously. This is where Indeedee comes in. Yeah. And did I say Indeedee? I don't think I said Indeedee. Yeah. Its fourth Pokemon would be Indeedee, sorry. So, the reason I thought Indeedee is because in the anime, Nurse Joy, like, every Nurse Joy from each region has a different Pokemon assistant. So, for that, in Galar, his, like, Nurse Joy's assistant is Indeedee, and since Galar is based on UK, where Heartstopper is set, I think Indeedee works. So Indeedee would be the one to plan Charlie's meals, okay? So Munchlax would gather the food, and Indeedee would plan his meals. So there you go. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense. So they'd be, like, mandated to him for that, and I like that idea as well. How many Pokemon's that? 5. Okay, his last Pokemon would be a yellow Minior, and spoiler warning, I gave the whole Para Squad Miniors, and I'm going to explain why now, actually, because there's 9 members of the Para Squad, and then there's 9 forms of Minior, including its shiny form, so I thought each color kind of represented everyone in their own way. So yeah, that's why that is. I was only going to give Nick and Charlie mini awards, but then I thought that that would be cool. Plus, it connects them all as well as friends. So yeah, I like that. But yeah, he gets the yellow mini award because Charlie's represented by the color yellow. So yeah, I think that works really well. So that's Charlie's team. I hope that's okay. Okay, now it's time for my favorite character, Nick. I said that a bit too excited. I like Kit Connor. Just I don't know if I've made that aware either. Anyway, Nick's team was kind of easy but kind of hard. So for his first Pokemon would obviously be Passimian, but he gave it to Charlie, so he doesn't have that anymore. So his other Pokemon would be Dushbun. And this was the easiest one because Nick loves dogs, and he has 2 dogs, and Nick loves baking. And this is literally a dog made of bread. So that is the absolute perfect Pokemon for Nick. Like, I could not think of any other Pokemon that was more perfect for Nick than that. Like, if you think I'm wrong, then you obviously didn't pay attention because there's no other Pokemon that is more perfect for Nick than Dushbun. I'm sorry, but there isn't. But he would also have a Sylveon. Now, let me explain why. A lot of people say Sylveon is the trans colors. I disagree, by the way, because I actually think that my friend pointed this out that helped me, by the way. So the tip of Sylveon's ribbons look like the bi flag. So obviously Nick is bi, actually. So that would be his Pokemon. But there's also another reason. See, Nick is technically French. His dad is French. His dad lives in France. So, and obviously Sylveon is from Kalos. And then Kalos is the Pokemon world's version of France. So, you know, there's another connection to France as well for Nick. So yeah, I think that really suits him as well. I like that. He'd also have Scorbunny to replace his Passimian. Even though Scorbunny's a football player and not a rugby player, but it's kind of the closest to the other Pokemon we have to a sport, I think. I can't think of any other Pokemon that are, like, close to that kind of sport. So yeah, he'd have a Scorbunny. And then he would have a Poltegeist, because Nick makes the best tea I've ever seen. Like, the way his tea looks is awesome. Like, wow. You're great at making tea, Nick. I don't even know if you actually made it, Kit Corner, but in the show's universe, Nick did make that tea, and it looks amazing, and I want to try it. So he would have a Poltegeist for that. And then he'd also catch a Gallade eventually, because it'd kind of like be a psychological thing, because, you know, I'm not going to say why, but Nick saved Charlie from Ben. I think you all can guess why. I don't want to elaborate on that. So he's kind of like Charlie Shining Knight in armor, and Gallade is literally a knight. I know we have other knight Pokemon, but I think Gallade, you know, is the best one for Nick. Plus it's green, which is a combination of blue and yellow. Speaking of that, he'd also have Minior, and he'd have the blue one, because Nick's represented by the color blue. So there you go. That's Nick's team. I really like that one as well. Oh, just quickly, I want to give a quick honorable mention to Nick's mum. I know I said I'm only doing the Paris squad, but see, my mum suggested that Nick should have Kangaskhan, since Nick has a really good relationship with his mum. But then I thought that that would make more sense for Nick's mum to have Kangaskhan, because, like, they're both parents, and then, like, Kangaskhan will do anything for its child, and Nick's mum is, you know, Nick's mum. She is awesome, and one of the best mums I've ever seen. I mean, not as good as mine, but yeah. So, I just want to quickly give her an honorable mention and just give her Kangaskhan. She's the only parent I'm going to talk about, because I don't want the video to be too long, but yeah, she would have a Kangaskhan, but I'm not going to give her a full team, sorry. Okay, next I'm going to do Tao. I hated Tao at first, but now I love him. I can't imagine the show without him. It's so funny. So anyway, Tao would, well, his starter Pokemon would be a Quaxley, because Quaxley loves to dance, obviously, and loves to take care of its hair. And Tao also likes to dance and loves to take care of his hair. So that's, like, literally there. Like, I feel like that I don't even need to go into more detail about that. They're literally a pair made in heaven, or hell, I don't know. He'd also have an Oricorio. I don't know what form, because I feel like, you know, they would all suit him, because he does weird dances all the time for L. So he would, like, he would have all the nectars to change Oricorio's form, and he would, like, decide whatever dance he was doing, he would give it that, and then do that dance, okay? So, just Oricorio in general. And then he'd also have a Cubone, because Tao has a fear of abandonment, and, you know, that's Cubone's whole thing, that his mother's dead, and he feels like he's abandoned. But Tao also's dad has died, so that's where his abandonment issues come from. So they both have dead parents and don't want to be left alone. So there you go, they have each other now. And then to be like L, he would also catch a Grafaiai, because he took art GCSEs, but he's really bad at art. But he only does it because L does it. So Grafaiai would kind of help him with that, but you know, yeah. And then he'd also have a Flabebe. So a little bit spoilers for L's team, but you see, in the show, everyone's represented by like different things. So like Nick and Charlie are leaves, but Elle and Tao are represented by butterflies and flowers. So yeah, you can kind of guess what kind of Pokemon Elle's gonna have. But Tao would have Flabébé because Flabébé is a flower, and butterflies are attracted to flowers. That's the whole point. So yeah, that's what they would have. And then obviously he would have Minior rock form. And the reason he had the rock form is because Tao's the only member of the group that's straight. So yeah, he'd have the one that's not colorful. I don't know if that's insulting to straight people or not, but I feel like I have a fair reasoning there. And to all the people that keep saying that Tao is bi because he's dating Elle, you're all transphobic. Even if you don't mean it, you are being transphobic saying that. Please stop saying that. Tao is straight, okay? That's the end of it. Alright, now we're gonna do Elle. And a little bit of spoiler, but these 4 characters are the only characters I gave full 6 teams to because they're the main ones. Everyone else is a main character, but I only gave them each 4 for a couple of reasons. One, I feel like they're it'd be too long if I gave them all 6, and I feel like it doesn't really matter, to be fair, because a lot of the trainers you battle in the game only have 4 Pokemon, so they only have 4 Pokemon. What do you want me to say? So anyway, Elle would obviously have Meryl. I feel like that's totally obvious. Meryl is literally a trans Pokemon. In case you didn't know, when Azrael evolves, this only works in Gen 3 to 5, by the way, for some reason. They removed it in the games, because, transphobia. But a female Azrael has the chance to evolve into a male Meryl, and, now Meryl's a trans icon because of that. So, yeah, she would have a Meryl. She'd also have an Eevee, because Eevee has the potential to be anything, and, that's kind of what Elle is like, Elle may have been born a boy, but she was always destined to be this confident woman that she is now, so yeah. But I don't really know how to elaborate on that. Yeah, I guess Eevee kind of represents trans people in a good way as well, to be fair, because Eevee can literally be anything. But also she'd have a Smeargle. Do I even need to explain? Elle is an artist. She's amazing at art. Yasmin said that she can't draw, so clearly she's not actually drawing all the paintings that are in the show. But Elle the character has, and she's an amazing artist, so yeah. Definitely she would have a Smeargle. And she'd also have an Appleton, because she loves apple juice, and I feel like you would get, unlimited apple juice from Appleton, so yeah. And then she'd have Butterfree, obviously, and like I said with Tao, butterflies are attracted to flowers, and then Butterfree, and yeah. And butterflies are arguably a kind of trends as well. They're not, but it's a caterpillar becoming a butterfly, and this trans activist, I don't know if you know, her name is Jazz. Should I say this? I'm gonna say it. When she got bottom surgery, right? She used that actual what I just said as a metaphor. That her caterpillar is becoming a butterfly. Do you get it? And then she'd have the pink Minior because pink for girls, obviously. So yeah, that is Elle's team. I think I like it. I did want to give her Primarina, but because mermaids are seen as a trans symbol, but the rest of these Pokemon just fit her so well. She had the easiest team to build. It wasn't even close. Okay, now we're gonna do Tara. First Tara would have a Curlia. I feel like that's obvious because Tara does ballet and Curlia is literally a ballerina. I'd also give her Serena. I know Serena's not a ballerina, but it does kind of look like one. And then Serena also kicks as well, and she's very protective. I feel like she'd protect Tara from anything, from boys that try and hit on her. Yeah, there you go. And also Serena is an only female Pokemon, so that kind of works too. This is kind of a stretch though. She'd also have a Cricketune because Tara plays the clarinet, and we don't have a clarinet Pokemon, I don't think, and I don't think we have any Pokemon based on what they call wind instruments. So Cricketune's kind of the closest thing we have to that, even though it's based on a violin. So totally not, but unfortunately it's the closest one. And then she'd have an orange Minior to represent, the lesbian flag. So yeah, that's Tara's team. Again, I'm sorry that I only gave her 4 and the others 4, but I just didn't want the video to be too long. If you can think of what her other 2 Pokemon, that goes for every other character as well. If you can think of what other 2 Pokemon they would have, let me know what you would give them. Alright, now we're going to do Darcy's team. First off, they'd have a Mimikyu, because Darcy puts on a mask in front of their parents and pretends not to be a completely different person. Because to their parents, they were just this, disobedient girl. But really, they're just this, away from their parents, they're this confident, non-binary person. So, they'd have Mimikyu, because Mimikyu is always wearing a mask as well, to try and make people love it. So, I think that works as well. They'd also have Crustle, because obviously Darcy ran away from home to live with Tara, but then lived with their grand now, and that's really sweet. But Crystal is based on a hermit crab, and hermit crabs always leave their homes to find new ones, so that works as well. They'd also have Ditto, because Ditto is literally a non-binary Pokemon. Like, I know there's several non-binary Pokemon I could have given them, but I feel like Ditto works the best, and plus Ditto kind of does the same with the masking as well, because Ditto can literally transform into anything it wants. So yeah, that works too. And then I'd give them the purple Minior to represent the non-binary flag. So yeah, that's Darcy's team. I'm actually really glad I managed not to call Darcy she, her there, because I thought I was gonna, and I'm really glad that I didn't. Okay, next we're doing Isaac. Isaac's team was very hard, but I actually kind of did it quite well. So, Isaac would have Blipbug, because it's literally a bookworm. I don't know why I didn't think of this at first. So, a Zordon trainer had to tell me. And Isaac loves reading books, so that works as well. So yeah, that would be a starter. Like, yeah, I could just give him that one Pokemon, it'd be perfect. But he has 3 others. He also has Unknown, specifically the I one, like literally the letter I, Unknown, because Unknown is based on the alphabet and obviously like words. So I feel like that's a thing. He'd also have Litten, because I don't know if you noticed, but I gave Charlie a grass starter and Tao a water starter. So then Isaac, since they're friends, would have the fire starter, and Litten. Because since Isaac prefers to be by himself and read, and Litten is prefers to be by itself as well, and solitary, yeah. And then it could, so I feel like they would be a match made in heaven. Plus, it could just sit on his lap and he could stroke it while he reads. I didn't give him any fire starters that have flames coming out of them, like Charmander, Cyndaquil, or Chimchar, because that would light his books on fire, so no. And then he'd have the green Minior to represent being Aero Ace. So yeah, that's Isaac's team. I really like it. Alright, next we're doing Sahar. Now, Sahar would have a Toxtricity. Like, I don't even need to explain why. Because she plays the guitar, and Toxtricity is based on the guitar. So I think that fits really well. I don't know, I feel like she'd have the acoustic form, but... And then I remembered she plays the electric one, so it'd make more sense for her to have, what's the ambience form? Is that what it's called? I don't know. But... yeah, maybe, I'll let you decide which form she should have. There you go. So she just has Toxtricity. She'd also have Jigglypuff, because she's the lead singer of the band, and Jigglypuff is a musical Pokemon. It literally sings in the anime and puts people to sleep, so I like that. And she'd also have a Chatot, because Chatot's, I just noticed this about Chatot, by the way. Its tail's based on a metronome, because it does that. And obviously I've known for years that Chatot's head's based on a musical note, and... that was Chatot's whole thing in the games before it got banned, because people used it to say slurs. It used to be able to... it has an attack called Chatter, and you used to be able to, actually speak in the mic and say things, but, like I just said, it got banned because people were using it to say slurs, and that's not good, so yeah. So she'd have Chatot, and then she'd have the Cyan Minior. The thing is, the only reason I'm giving her the Cyan one is because all the others are taken, and this one is, the only one left, I mean, you'll see why. So, even though it doesn't really represent her that well, I feel like she should still have it because I gave everyone else one, so yeah. But, yeah, that's Sahara's team. Let me know what you think. Okay, last but not least, Imogen. I like Imogen, but she's my least favourite out of the whole Para squad. I'm sorry, but, she's kind of annoying and desperate. Anyway, she'd have a Psyduck because... oh, God. Because, Imogen's kind of always, it's a bit ditzy and confused, and Psyduck's a bit ditzy and confused, so I feel like that would be perfect. She'd also have a Jinx, because she's what's the word? Oh, I've forgotten the word. She's all confident in herself, and she thinks she's this pretty girl. Well, not think, you know what I mean. And, that's what Jinx is. Jinx thinks that she's beautiful in that, so... when I say things, I don't mean it in a rude way. It's literally the only word I can think of. I'm sorry. She'd also have a Salazzle because it kind of represents when she dated Ben and she was toxic. So Salazzle, well, Salazzle's pre-evolution. The male ones can't evolve, so this is kind of another psychological thing. So the Salazzle would represent how Imogen's moving away from boys and thinking of herself, and then I won't spoil this yet, because I want to talk about her next Pokemon. But it represents something else, which I will go into now. She'd have the Shiny Minior, because Imogen is kind of confused about her sexuality right now. She doesn't know who she is. So she's going for the same arc that everyone else has went through, so yeah. But Yeah, I think so. I think she'd have the shiny one because the shiny one has all the colors of all the other Minior in it, so it represents that because she doesn't know what she is yet. So, and then obviously the Salad's represents that too because like now it's girls instead of boys. So yeah, that's Imogen's team. I feel like I was insulting to her. I'm so sorry. I hope Ria isn't actually mad at this because I do love her. Well, that was my Heartstopper Pokemon teams. Let me know what you think of the teams in the comments down below. And maybe let me know if you think if there are any Pokemon that would fit them instead of the ones I gave them. Because who knows, maybe you have a different opinion from me. I'd love to see other people make this video. I don't know if anyone has. I'll look after I've made this. But anyway, I'm going to end that there. And I'll see you all next time. Bye!